to the Startup Grind.
At Startup Grind, we always want to start from the beginning. So if you could just tell us who you are, where you come from, up until where you are today.
My name is Sylvia Banda. I'm the third in the family of 7 girls and 1 boy. The boy who is the last born. And I'm a married person. God has blessed me with 4 children, boys, no girl. Yes, and also at the same time, I'm a business person. I started business at the age of 12. Up to today, I'm still doing business. I've even become a business politician. I think in the long and short, that's what I can say.
Okay, so you started business when you were 12 years old. Maybe you could just tell us how it all began.
At the age of 12, that's when I started business. And by then I was not looking at it as a business, but it was just like fun, because sometimes I would go into the market, I'll find women selling something, and I would look at them and say, they were making money. That was the time when my father retired from his position, where he was posted as a diplomat. So when he came back, he did not want to stay in Lusaka. He said, we are going to go back to the village. And we went to the village, and that is where I developed that interest. But before that, my mother was a domestic science teacher. She used to teach us how to cook, how to bake, and also how to sew, using hands. So for me, I capitalized on 2 careers. That is that of the cooking and also the sewing. But what prompted me to go into business, or to force me to go into business, was one day my father, being now a farmer, he had gone out, and when he came back, he had a puncture with his bicycle, and he was mending it. He started mending the bicycle, and I was playing around behind the trees. So there was this young boy from the community. When he saw him, because in the community, when the elderly person has got a problem, the young ones or anyone will just go and join. And they don't even ask for money like the way here in the cities. When someone shows you the direction, you will come and say, oh, can you give me something? But not in the rural areas. So this boy just went to help my father. And they were even chatting as they were working on the tube. Then the friend of that boy saw him, and he didn't even greet them. He just went straight to tell the father of the boy to say, do you know where your son is? The friend said, no. He says, he's there at that house with that man who's got a chain of girls. Because that's what they used to call my father, that one who's got a chain of girls. So the father just folded the shirts and also the trousers, and he came running. So when he came, as he was approaching, he just started, uttering insults. Why are you misusing my son? I'm not the one who told you to have girls. If you don't know how to father girls, you should have consulted us. He said a lot of nasty things. And I was playing then. I heard everything, but I didn't want my father to know that I saw and I heard. So I hid myself behind the mango tree. So the boy wanted to explain to the father, he even slapped the boy, and he grabbed him, let's go. And that's how they went. So it was from that day, I started asking myself that, is it a crime, to be a girl, to be born a girl? I went to my to my cousin, a boy. I asked him to show me his palm. So he showed me the palms like this, and I read the 3 lines. They were exactly like mine. Then I said, what is the difference between a boy and a girl? So I asked him, I said, how many teeth do you have in your mouth? So I said, I don't know, I've never counted. I said, can we count? So I started counting. He counted his and I counted mine. I said, we are the same. So it was from there I taught myself to say, what a boy can do, I can also do it. I started trying hard. I would go in the bush, carry an axe, I'll go and cut the small pieces of wood. I'll come and make what do we call those? In Tamba, what do we call where to put when you wash the plates in the villages, you put them on top of a platform to dry them. So I started making those the racks for my mother, and when she's happy, I feel very happy. And that is when I went into the market also. I said, okay, what kind of business? These women, I see them with money. What do they do? I looked at the type of business which they were doing. Then I said, I can also do something. So I said, but what can I do? I said, okay. All I wanted was to make my parents happy. So I capitalized on making fritters because my mother used to teach us very nice fritters when we were in Congo. And they were calling them mandas. So I said, okay, let me try the fritters. I made the first day, I gave it to the family. Everyone enjoyed it. I was very happy. The second day I said, I'm not going to give you to eat. I'll take them to school. I'll go and sell them. So I took them to school. I came back with an empty, basket. So it was from there that I started. Every day I was taking the baskets of fritters. I take them to school. I sell them. I become very, very happy. But the money, I had no use for money. I would just give everything to my mother. And I tell her to say, just buy me the raw materials. And she'll go and buy the raw materials. Part of the money she uses, it doesn't matter. But me, what I was interested is to make money. So I continued doing that until the school authorities one day called me to say, when you bring the fritters, don't sell them to your friends. First of all, you have to bring them into the staff room. Once we have bought them, the remainders, you can sell them to your friends. And I started doing that, and I even brought in now my sisters. I'll tell them to say, can you help me to carry the baskets to take to school? They'll help me. By the end of the day, I'll sell everything. When I went to secondary school, I couldn't continue with my business now of making the fritters. So what I started now doing was, I thought about the other career because personally, when I look at the way you are all seated here, I know that you've got money. And if I had made, in fact, she called me when I was at Mulungushi Conference Center. I'd forgotten about this. My apologies, and you did well to call me. But if at all I'd remembered, I could have collected all the money from you by the time I'm going. I know you've got money. That bag, there is money there. I know in your pockets you've got money. That's my nature. And how do I collect this money? I don't steal. But because I know that human beings, there is something that you like. And if I prepare that thing that you like, I'll end up going with your money from the bag. And I leave you with what you like from me. So that is what I did when I went to secondary school. I said, there are a lot of students here. What is it that they like most? Which I can, collect their money from them. Then I looked at the school program. There was a ballroom dancing club. Once every month I said, there is no girl who would want to go and dance with an old dress. Everyone would want to wear a new dress. So I taught myself how to design. If at all I'm going this side and she's coming this side and she's wearing something fancy, I'll look at it in front, then I copy in my head. I use the camera inside my head. Then as we bypass each other, I'll turn and look at the back. If at all I'm not too sure about it, maybe I also turn and start following her until I get the pattern also from the back. Then I turn and continue where I'm going. Then when I go to my room, I sit down and I start cutting what I saw. So I used to make clothes for my friends, and the exclusive clothes, whereby what I make for you is not the same that I'll make for her. So news went around that I make outfits. So they started bringing me the orders. And I'll tell them, no, just get, but when you get your pocket money, you pay me. And for sure, they used to do that. But business grew whereby it was very difficult for me now to manage. What I used to do is that I'll get orders, then I'll design them. In the night, I will start sewing. Ladies, do you know back stitch? You know how to sew?
Yes.
And you know the tacking, Yeah, so I'll start by, first of all, back stitch. Back stitch is the permanent stitch, Then I'll do again tacking, which is a temporal stitch. Until I'll make sure that I finish this outfit. I'll get another one, the same thing. Back stitch, tacking. Then when they come to collect the outfits, I warn them, I said, don't dance too much. or else the dress will separate. But after the dancing, bring them back so that I can come and finish with the backstage. So the business grew whereby I couldn't now handle the sewing. I used to take now the outfits to I'll design, then I'll go into the market. I'll ask the tailors to sew them for me. When I finish, I'll come and give them to my friends. I told my parents, I said, stop sending me money, I've made a lot of money. So my father came, he wanted to know, to say, where have you made this money from? I said, I make outfits for my friends. So the day he came, he said, you want to know how I make money? I said, yes. I said, okay, let's go to the market. He drove me to the market. So I went to the 3 tailors, I collected the outfits, they had finished, I put in the suitcase. I said, this is how I make money. So we went to the room. He says, now, the money, where do you keep it? I said, okay, sit down here. And I went on the bunker bed and I opened the roof. Then I got the plastic bag. It was full of money. Then I showed him, I said, you have been keeping the money in the roof. I said, yes, no one sees me. I put in the night when all my friends are sleeping. Or I wait until they go to the classroom, then that's when I put and I close. Says, no, let's go to the post office. We went to the post office and we opened my first account when I was in grade 8. And I continued that business until when I went to the college. Again, I looked at the opportunity to say, how can I make money from my fellow students? Then I noticed that the government, the college, they were giving us allowances. So I said, they give us allowances. How much? I calculated. Okay, I said, now, out of that allowance, how can I collect something from my friends to myself? So I went to the dining hall. I found there were 3 days in a week where the students were not comfortable to enjoy the meals. They were carpenter, when we were being given a rotten carpenter, rotten beans, and cabbage. You'll find the students were not very comfortable. I claimed those 3 days. I went to the shops, I bought the buckets, very big buckets, 3 of them. Each bucket, when I know that tomorrow will be that food which the students don't like, I'll buy T-bones, I'll buy chickens, and I also buy sausages because those are easy to prepare, and I bought a 2 plate. So that is how I've grown doing that kind of business, whereby when I started business in 1996, it was not a problem because I was already used, because even when the first posting, by the way, I've only worked 3 years in life, that is formal employment with the means of education. But even that 3 years, in fact, I wanted to work for 5 years, but I found it very, very difficult that I couldn't even finish the 5 years that I put myself on, because I found a small place from the village industry service. In fact, I wanted to change employment. I thought that maybe if I could go and work somewhere else away from the government. So when I went to village industry, they were very happy to see me, to say, we are looking for young people like you. We have just finished building the center, so as an incubator. So we are looking for people who can do business there. Then I said, no, I'm not a business person. I said, no, you can learn, we'll teach you how to do business. So things happened very fast that they even took me to the place and I was given a room 1. So I said, oh my God, now what do I do? So after that, I got married in 1995. Yeah, I got married first, 1995. So 1996, that is when I found that small place. So I went, the day that I wanted to go and open the place, I didn't want to tell my husband that I was going to open the place, because we had gone there earlier and put the name Silver Spoon's Restaurant. But we had not opened for 3, 4, 5 months. So this day when I went to open, I told him that I was not feeling well. But I didn't tell him that actually I had taken 10 days local leave from my working place. I knew that he was going to discourage me, to say, no, what, because we talked about it a bit, and he says, why can't you look for someone to be running that? And that's what I didn't want. So I told him I was not feeling well. So he went for work. Immediately he left, I became very active. I packed meal, I packed chickens from our deep freezer, everything for that day. I just got them from home. And also the new plates, you know, ladies, when you're about to get married, you have the kitchen part where people donate the plates, the pots, the spoons, and everything. So I got most of those things, and I hired a taxi. I went to village industry. When I arrived there, I cleaned up the place, but I said, now, who is going to tell the people that today I've opened the place? There was no one to do that. So what I did after cleaning the place, I locked the kitchen, the door. Not locking, I closed it, and I also closed the windows, and I switched on the 2-plate cooker, which Mr. Banda was using when he was a spinster, and my 2-plate cooker, which I was using when I was I was using as a spinster, he went as a bachelor himself. Yeah, so I switched on, and I put my pan there, new pan. Do I need to use a... Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, for recording. Okay. So that's what I did. I started now cutting the onions, the tomatoes, the garlic, which I got from home. And after that, I started now frying them on my pan, and I had a lid. So I fry, the steam will come. Then I'll put a bit of tomatoes. Again, I'll cover it. Again, I will remove. Again, I fry a bit. Again, I cover it until the whole place was covered with steam and with nice aroma. Then I went to the window. I opened the window and I opened the door. I could see the smoke fighting to go out. Then I continued cooking. And 5 minutes later, people started coming. There's a nice scent here. Have you opened this restaurant today? I said, oh, yes. To me, that was my advert. I wanted the steam to go out and tell people that I've opened. Because I didn't have anyone to go and tell them. Another group, we have felt the nice smell. I said, please tell everyone at lunch hour come. I've opened. And lunch hour people started coming. When I served about 15, 16, 17 people, I saw that they were all standing with the food now in their hands. And I said, then that's when it came to my head. I said, I've jumped the gun. I've not done what I'm supposed to have done. My business requires tables and chairs, and I had no tables and chairs. So now I said, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I know you are wondering as where to sit. They all answered at the same time. I said, yes. I said, okay, what you are going to have today is what we in catering we call standing buffet. You eat the food in a standing position and discuss with your neighbors. Do you know your neighbors? I said, no. I said, yes. It's important to know what they do. So it was like fun, but I saw everything, all the food, but people ate in a standing position. So when they all went, I remained. I got the money, I put it on the table, I counted. I discovered that I had made more than what the government was paying me for working for 30 days. When I shook the head, I said, unless I'm insane, I'll go back to work. Because if the food which I stole from home, if the food which I stole from home I've prepared and this is what I can make, then there is no point for me to go back to work. So I took that, and my landlord was village industry. Well, by the time they came, they wanted the food, they found that they already sold everything. So they called me to say, no, they wanted to see me. I said, when I've made such a big money now, they want to chase me, that I served the people in a standing position. Let me go and find out what they want to tell me. So I was told, we saw that there were a lot of people that came. I said, oh, yes. Said, now they were eating standing. I said, I have no tables and chairs. I've told you that me, I'm just a graduate. I don't even have money to buy tables and chairs. They said, no, don't worry. We'll lend you the tables and chairs. Just leave the keys. We'll give you the chairs from the conference room. When I came the following day, the place was wonderful. And the money which I made, I did not run to Mr. Banda to go and show him to say, this is the money that I've made. I went now to buy pre-packed mini meal. It has got a lot of names, Musevanya, Nishao Pamela. It has got all those names. So I went and I bought now the Pamela, and I bought some chickens and some beef. It is the raw materials which I went with to go and show him at home and say, actually, I opened the restaurant today. And I made so much, and I've bought A, B, C, D. He says, but you told me you were sick. I said, no, I was afraid that if I tell you that I'm going to open, you are going to stop me. So I've opened the restaurant today, and I don't think I'll go back to work. So after 10 days, I went to work again. I only went for 2 days. I came back, I continued. To cut the story short, that is actually how Sylva Catering was born. Now, when I went back, because I wanted to resign in a normal way, I left my sister. As she was running the business, things changed completely. And I want you to learn a lesson from there, that business is not something that you can give to someone like a gift to say, oh, carry on. If that person doesn't have the vision, it will never take you anywhere. She started quarreling with the customers. Each time they tell her to say, but how come the grave now is not the grave that we were having when you opened. Now this one, you find that it is separated with cooking oil and what. She will just come and stand and look at the person who is complaining to say, you, if I ask you right now to go with you at your home, you will find that even what I've cooked here, you don't even have it home. But because you have come here, you are customer, the food is not okay. Now, how can you tell a customer like that? And you find it tomorrow when a customer has been told like that, you won't come. Then some people called me to say, hey, you have to come back. Your sister is fighting with clients. Others were even wanting to beat her up. So I said, no, please come back. And that's what prompted me to go back. And for sure, I found that I'd lost a lot of customers, only very few. I started going around now, bribing them. No, please come, or even give you free meal. Because to lose customers, it's very difficult to get them. Yeah, you do 100%, I don't know, to just get them back. So I started now talking to them, offering them free meals, and so forth and so forth. And when they come, after I talk to them, and if she's there, then she'll be looking at them like this. You see, it's like saying, you even reported me. So what I did, I checked my sister. I said, as long as she's around, the customers won't stay. So I asked her to stay home. After that, we grew a bit, and that is how we opened the training school, the Silva Training College. It was opened in 1997. It has been running up to today. We run courses. What are these courses? Food and beverage, food production, and up to diploma. Then we continued running. We moved from village industry. Now we came into town. We came at the Chachacha Road. From Chachacha Road, we went to Findeko. Findeko went to University of Zambia. It was from University of Zambia we bought a piece of land in the showgrounds, which we have developed, and that's where we have moved. That's where our headquarters is. Apart from Sylva Catering, in fact, right now we handle functions. No function is too small for us or too big for us. We even handle state functions. Apart from the Sylva Catering and then the college, I'm sure some of you are aware that we have now a university. We opened 2 years ago. It has been running. It's a baby university opposite University of Zambia on this other side, Marshlands. Apart from that, 2005, we opened a new business called Silva Food Solutions. This is where we teach farmers in the rural areas to dry the vegetables. We looked at the problem that we have in Zambia, because I told you that I always look for problems, and when I found a problem, I have to look for a solution, and that solution, in most cases, that is the way I make business. Right now, we have come up with a new product that is the porridge. It is a cereal product, which we are using into school feeding program. That is orange maize and moringa. And also we have the moringa soup, which is very, very nutritious. In fact, when I was invited the first time, I had planned to say I'll bring the soup so that you come and taste. When you taste my soup, no, you can. I wouldn't even reach my place. You'll be calling me, can you please bring some more? So that is one of the lines that we do. And what else? We also have mineral water. If at all she had told me, in good time like yesterday, I could have brought you some water. Once you drink my water, you never want to drink any other water.
I think she's really good at marketing.
Yeah, I think in short, these are some of the things that we do. Maybe let me pause here so that I can take up some questions.
Okay, so
But before I do that, I would like to introduce my friend. I came with my friend, Dr. Florence Wambugu from Kenya. Please greet the people.
hello, you're welcome.
Florence has come to Zambia for this conference, which is taking place at Mulungushi, the ADB conference. And in fact, we just came from the conference room and we rushed here. So she has been a wonderful colleague of mine.
Okay, it sounds to me like you were almost born an entrepreneur from the time you were 12 years old, and obviously the incident that you had at home that propelled you to question if, you know, men and women were different in any way. And obviously you came to the conclusion that we were not. Sometimes we do hear people say that, you know, entrepreneurship is harder for a woman than it is for a man. From your experience, what would you say?
It is not difficult because, you know, it has to be something that is within you. First of all, you need to have a vision. And when you have a vision, you need to bring in people, the right people, to interpret your vision. Because you can have a very good vision, but if you have people who are bad, who cannot interpret your vision, you cannot go anywhere. So entrepreneurship is so good and it's not difficult because I can give an example. I'm one person who always works in reverse. Like right now, in fact, even the factory which we have right now, I saw it and I put it on 5 years plan. And I started from my head coming backwards. I bought the equipment before I had the factory. The factory landed in Zambia. The equipment landed in Zambia and there was no factory. Then I knew that because I bought the machine, I needed to look for a factory. The factory, it was not a problem because it just fit into the plan. Two, I saw that the ones who should feed into my factory were the smallholder farmers. I started doing the training before the equipment came. So by the time the equipment came, the time that I came up now with the factory, the training had already, started taking place. So right now, what we have done is that there is an organization that has surrendered about 180,000 farmers to us. They want us to train them because first of all, they wanted us to give them the market. But in our case, we don't buy products from farmers whom we have not trained because we want quality, to maintain our standards. I am a president for 48 African countries. Any country that you look at, I'll tell you that, yes, I'm their president. Yeah, I'm their president. I'm the president for African Women's Entrepreneurship Program. That is here at Clinton's branch. I report to State Department. But I find the time to oversee all these people. Even orders, when orders come, I always tell them to say, stop taking the niche market from America. Go for the huge, markets. And how do we do it? When an order comes, I have the data, 48 African countries. I know where they grow soybeans. If it's soybeans they are looking, I know which country grows soybeans and who are our members there and so forth. All I'll just say, okay, can you put your soybeans together and these are the specifications. They put the soybeans and they supply. We are moving on. So I feel that I know that to be an entrepreneur, you have to work 34 hours within 24 hours. Apart from being a president for 48 African countries, I sit on several boards, even here in Zambia. But I manage. And again, to be an entrepreneur, you need to know who to associate with. Because again, if at all you don't associate with the right people, actually you go down. And I'm sure you learned something from the example that I gave you. As an entrepreneur and you want to succeed, never make a mistake of employing your relatives. Especially untrained relatives. When they are trained, they are not dangerous. But untrained relatives, avoid employing them. They will bring you down.
So you don't work with family right now?
Sorry?
You don't work with family right now?
I work with the family who are trained. Yes, and I have to approve their training. And also, as an entrepreneur, make sure that you put yourself on a salary. Separate yourself from business. As long as you are doing business and you have not separated yourself from there, money will come. Then immediately the other sense, we have the sixth sense. It will tell you to say you don't even have bread at home. Have you seen this money that has come into the company? But if you have separated yourself from the company, even when you don't have bread at home, you don't have because you have no money. And it ends there. And you'll never die if at all you want to have a cup of tea with a piece of bread. You just tell yourself to say it's one of those things. I talked about the risk taking. I'm a risk taker. Sometimes when I do something and it doesn't work well for me, you know how I console myself? I said, yes, education is very expensive. So I've invested in education. I've learned next time I want to do it like this. I'll know what to do because I've paid for it. So that is those are some of the tricks that you needed to do. The other thing is when you are starting your in a business, the names are very, very important. The name that you give to your company is very, very important. Never give them names like I went to Uganda, I found a shop and it's painted red and black. They call it the red seven devils, something like that. And it's a shop, eh? So names are very, very important because Zambia is a Christian nation. Then you go and call yourself the red devils. You see, or Mutima, or Tieseko, Mavuto. You see those names, you keep on trying and you never go anywhere. Why? Because you have cast yourself through the names. And sometimes also, it may not be a name that you have cast yourself. Don't trouble your clients to call your name, like Silva. It's very easy and simple, isn't it? Silva. It's simple. In the mouth of your clients. Now, if my company is called Shokoloko Bangoshe, by the time someone is finishing all the lines, you see what I mean? So they sound funny and, but they really matter in business. And also the location where you are operating from. If at all you are in a laundry business, you go and set up your establishment in Mrs. Compound, where even your clients who want to bring your outfits, there are no roads. Those are facts, isn't it? There are no roads, maybe to reach where your establishment is, but it is there somewhere in Mrs. Compound. Who is going to be your client? All those things you have to take them into consideration if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about the Zambia startup scene in terms of entrepreneurship? There's so many people who would like to get into it. Is it very enabling? People who want to pursue business in Zambia, right? So what are your thoughts about the startup scene? We see a lot of foreign investors come in and they do succeed. So what would you, if you were responsible, for instance, for entrepreneurship, what would you do to promote the startup scene?
First of all, to promote the startups, because what I know is that we have a lot of potential in Zambia. We have a lot of, in fact, Zambia, I look at it as one of the countries where if you mean business, you don't need to make money, but you need to sweep money. There's a lot of money. But what we are lacking is information. There is the information gap. So if at all I needed to help the startups, the first thing that I would do is to come up with a center like the way you have done. This is very good. That's why I even took Florence, I said, come, let's go and share the little knowledge that we have with the young ones who may want to start their businesses. This is very good because you are releasing information free of charge. And that is what many people lack. Even in myself, when I started business, I didn't have a role model. And we started business in a, you remember or maybe you were not even yet born, because I've been in business for the past 29 years. Some of you are not yet 29 years old. So when we started business in the first regime, it was very difficult for one to do business because the government was not allowing people to do business per se. Government was the one which was doing business. Even the few of us who were doing that, we were investigated left, right, and center. Why is she doing business? Where did she get the money? Such kind of things. Not knowing that I started a business on a standing buffet. So, yeah, so it's things like that. But for now, people are lucky whereby you have the Facebook, you can release some information, and the other, the media, you can release a lot of information to them. Information to me is the key. Someone who gives me the information, I feel that has given me money, than the person who gives me money. Because if I have no information, I'll misuse that money. And that's the end.
What has been the biggest challenge that you have faced as an entrepreneur?
Oh, there are so many challenges, but when you're in business, it means that you have no ears, you have no eyes. What I mean by that is that people talk. In fact, if you listen to what they say, you cannot go anywhere. The other thing is the things you see, they should not divert your attention. Seeing you can see, but do not allow yourself to be diverted. I started with food. I'm still in the food. All these businesses which you have done, it is food, 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 food. I talked about the 180,000 farmers, those that have been surrendered to us. What I told the people, those that have been with them, is that as much as I can say, we can teach them how to dry the solar dryers. By the way, I invented my solar dryer, the ones which we use and we give to the farmers to use to dry the vegetables. Now what I've done is, again, I've come up with a new invention of a chiller. We want to be getting the vegetables from the farmers, the fresh ones, put them in the chiller, and that chiller will keep the vegetables fresh up to about 6 months. Then I've started signing the MOUs with the big supermarkets so that and the hotels, they can be getting the fresh vegetables from us. Those who want the dry vegetables also get the dry vegetables. So the challenge has been one of that I talked about, information gap. The second one is the media. I think the media in Zambia, they have a lot of work to do to help the startup. Because especially someone who is just starting business, they don't even want to look at that person. It's like it's a waste of time. But it is from that small beginning, humble beginning, that you come and see the Sylvas of today, whatever companies that you think of, mention of today. So we need to support the young ones. In fact, what I've noticed and what I've come to discover is that they've got brilliant ideas, but there is no one to help. There are very few people that are extending their hands to help them. And the other one is the fear also from the young ones, those that want to start business. You are very, very scared. Even when it comes to mentorship, I've been a mentor for the government, for the private. When you are being paired with the mentee is the one who runs away. I don't know whether we've got faces which are so scary that you don't want to come and find out to say, what is it that you're doing? How did you start and so forth? You find the mentee has gone away. But when you try to find out why, no, maybe it's like I'm bothering them, or they think that I'm copying. There is so much business you cannot, even when you copy and do it, just do it, in a better way. You see, there is enough for all of us. And the other thing that is a challenge also is the society itself. I think we are being brought up in that traditional way where we feel that a woman is supposed to be in the kitchen. A woman is not supposed to be in public. Because sometimes you find that the ones who perform PhD on you, who are down, are fellow women. Yeah, why? Because you don't blame them. They're just trying to play or remind you to say, you are a woman, you are not supposed to be in the public, you're supposed to be in the kitchen. But I think that time is long gone. Even in marriages nowadays, you find that if your daughter is getting married, the mother will ask, what does he do? They say, oh, he does this, that, that. Also, the mother of the boy will ask, this same girl that you want to go marry, what does she do? No, nothing, she's just at home, what. They will start discouraging the son. no, our son, you marry problems. You better off marry someone. I'm not saying it's wrong to marry someone who's not working, but that is society, the way it has become. You know, it's ugly. We have to accept that. So it is important. There is no one who has been born down. I've never come across a down person. Someone can only be slow in adapting things, but it's not down. Give someone something to do. You'll find that same person you are thinking is a dull person. He will do it. He will make it. Because all you need to do is just give him time to understand and adapt. He will do it perfectly well. But if you are too fast, you even leave him behind.
So I'll ask you the last question and then we'll open it up to the audience. I like the thinking of how can I get money from them. You kept saying that, I think from the time you were young, you saw the women in the market making money and so on. So are there any more business ventures that you would like to pursue?
At the moment, I would like to continue to carry on with what first of all I'm doing, because that is my nature. I don't like to grab this, grab that, and in the end I fail to do it. When I started running the catering business, there was a time when I had 16 eating outlets, 15 in Lusaka and 1 in Livingstone. I found it taught me a very big lesson to say it doesn't pay to overstretch yourself that way, because there are only 5 working days in a week for those eating outlets which I had, 5-6 working days if you put Saturday as well. So it was very difficult for me to supervise. And also you have to be very, very careful when you want to grow your name. Never allow a situation where the business starts running you, run the business. So by having 16 outlets, I had a situation where some of the outlets started running me. Because what I meant is that they were doing very well. At first, they would come and cash in the money properly. Second time, 2, 3, 4 days, they don't see me at that outlet. The money won't come, or the money won't come. Maybe they'll give me 3 quarters and the quarter goes. After some time, we started sharing 50-50. After some time, they started giving me a quarter. And when I saw that, we sat down and said, let's close all the eating places and concentrate on by then we had also a guest house. And that is how I first of all asked Mr. Banda to resign from his working place, to say, my hands are full, can you come so that you help me? Thank God, he did that, and he came to join me, but still more, we got 10 against 16, it was not possible. Sometimes you get a phone call from Livingstone, sorry madam, the thieves broke into the place and they have taken food, this, that. You flew, you got to, because for you to reach there, you have to fly in order for you to go and see what's happening. When you get there, you check the doors where the thieves, broke in. Not even one door, not even one lock is broken. But they have told you to say that they stole. What it means is that they have just taken the food themselves. And not even in the night. During the day, they just come and take, then they make a phone call to fool you. So that is how we decided to close all the eating places. We remained with the guest house. When we were running the guest house, it was doing very well because we introduced the traditional food. But we decided to close it also when we started having, funny people coming to our place, doing evil things. And by then, I was a born-again Christian. And I couldn't allow things like that to be happening because I knew that if I die, and the sinner also is committing crime in my room dies, both of us will go to hell. Because I provided the platform for them to come and do evil thing in my room. So because of that, I decided to close the guest house and say, to hell with the what? The God whom I pray, if I cannot bless me with some other things, but to continue helping people committing immorality in my room, no, that's how I closed it.
My question to you is, how do you think we can make Zambian food a tourist attraction? That people actually come to Zambia, traveling to try and come and eat Zambian food, and how do we end up with a Zambian food restaurant in the middle of London, New York, Paris?
How to put Zambian food on the market is what I've already started. we promote traditional food. Me, I used to promote Western food. But there was a time when we made a complete U-turn and started promoting the traditional food. This was the time when we did our own research. We wanted to find out, why do we have a lot of diseases in the urban areas? And why do we have children growing like bananas? So what we did, we went to the village, we looked at a 14-year-old boy, is looking like he's 12 years old. Somewhere there, 10, 12. Then from the urban areas, we look at the 14-year-old boy, who will be looking like he's 21 years old. So we knew that there was a problem, and the problem was food. So this is how we, if you remember very well, we started doing the programs, Cook of the Year competition, where we bring the whole Zambia, 222 per province, we bring them at the National Museum, then we had the program sponsored, and then they cook the food, the traditional food, unique food. And we invite the government and the other stakeholders to come and eat. That program, actually, it was even pronounced as a yearly event. The problem actually has just been with me. I've been too busy. I couldn't continue after doing it for 5 years. The purpose of that program, we were teaching people who don't know how to cook. And also we are teaching people to respect each other's food. If she's from Tongaland, I'm from Bemba. As we eat blackjack as food, if she comes to my home and I cook the blackjack, then she refuses to say, no, I don't eat blackjack. What will make her die? When me have been eating it for all these years. Or if she has, in fact, me, I'm from Northern Province, which is Muchinga Province now. We don't eat sour milk, we call it rotten. When it is sour, we even take it to go and throw it away. But mixing with our friends here, we have discovered that when it becomes sour, that is the best milk. We have started eating because, first of all, we ate a bit. We found that, first of all, maybe we may have diarrhea because we are eating it for the first time. But after some time, we get used. We eat mabisi, and we don't die because the friends, our friends, eat all these years and they have never died. So that was the purpose of that program, was to encourage people to respect each other's food. And also to know how to cook. And also to discover what you may not know that it is food, it is food. So we used to do that. That was one way of popularizing the traditional food. We have catered to all the embassies. Here in Lusaka, the high commissioners, they normally have a program where every month, one of them would sponsor to go out to have lunch where they discuss their issues. They normally used to come to my place to enjoy the traditional food. And also, the question which you asked how we work with government, most of the bigger functions, whenever we are attracting a lot of people to come from outside the country, they sometimes invite my company to provide traditional food as one way of showcasing to our friends that this is the food which we eat and we appreciate it. The problem that we have is from our young ones. When I cook the traditional food, you first of all ask me a lot of questions. What is this? What have you put there? Why is it looking like that? Why is it that? I don't have the time for the whys. If I can eat, just also enjoy, eat it. It's very traditional and also it's highly nutritious. By the way, we have stopped cooking the food for the sake of cooking from my restaurant. The food which we cook there, we are promoting nutrition. Whereby, when you eat the food from my place, I am worried about your life. I feel that if I can add 1 day to your life, it will help me a lot. Than if I reduce that 1 day by putting a lot of cooking oil in the food and a lot of spices, I'm reducing 1 day from your life. Tomorrow you come and eat from my place, I reduce another day. Another day. In the end, I'll be a murderer. I've killed you. So we have stopped that kind of cooking. The kind of cooking which we do now is to add life to someone, that kind of thing.
I'm wondering, so over the years you develop your business, how do you work with the governments and the regulators? And since we just came from the conference, and the ADB talked about high fives, the Feed Africa. So how do you think of discussion so far? And what kind of steps do you think it will take to make the vision happen, according to your experience in the food sector? I think it's very important.
it is not very easy to get any money from the government if you don't know where that money lies. I don't know how many of you, when a year starts, you go to maybe Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Youth and Sport, Ministry of Finance, to look at the yellow book. Because in that yellow book, that is where the secret lies. That is where all the money is. Because you can't go to them to say, no, you know, I'm a youth, I need money, I want to start this and that. Even the person that you are asking, you are telling that story. In the first place, some of them might not even know. But it is in the yellow book. But if you go there, you pin them down by saying, I know that in the yellow book on page so, there is this money for the youths. There is this money for what? This is my proposal. That is the reason why that money is there. Do you know what happens to that money in the yellow book? Some of the money from these ministries, they don't even use it. When it reached, is it November, all that money actually goes to Ministry of Finance. And they have to start all over again. So, from the government, the only way you can actually work with them and benefit from what they are offering is by getting the information. Ministry of Finance should not be a no-go area. Find out what you're looking for. Like, I can give an example when we started exporting. American Embassy was my home. I'll go there. I know very well to say that. And when you go to American Embassy, don't go to say, I'm looking for someone who can help me. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm trying to do. Even the person who works in the same office will tell you, sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. But they work together with the person that you want, to consult. But when you go to offices like that, you have to do the homework, study. What is it that they do? Who is the right person? Do a guerrilla work. So that by the time you go, you say, I'm looking for Christine, the one who deals with ABCD, ABC. Even when you meet Christine, tell her, point blank, to say, Christine, I've come to see you because you are the one who works with this, that. This is what I'm doing, and I want to tap from what you are, what you are promoting. Christine will be able to help you. But if I tell you just start meandering about, even the Christian herself will tell you, I don't know what you're talking about, sorry. Yeah, so that is the way we have been working with the government closely. In fact, I've done a lot of training where we work with the government. And also, I've done a lot of trade expos with the government where they invite us to travel with them and go and do sometimes some guerrilla work from some other countries. We've been to China, we've been to India, Malaysia, and so forth, because we're just trying to find out how do these people, how have they made it? Because in business you have to do a guerrilla work in order for you to find your way where you're going. I don't know if I've answered you correctly. Yeah.